Alright, so summary for Manhattan Project. Now, despite the surface appearance that this is a standard worker placement game, it does several things very well that set it apart from your everyday run-of-the-mill worker placement type game. First off, it works on a mechanic similar to Tzolk'in or something like that, where you're placing or pulling, though unlike Tzolk'in, in this, the placement gets you the reward instead of the pull. Now, it also, despite the limited amount of actions and seemingly choices, because it's a smaller board, less options there, each option has different ways you can go about it. To gain money, you can spend yellow cake, you can give your enemies some money, or you can use specialist characters. And the same with the mines, the university, the enrichment plants. I mean, they each give you different options and different ways to go about them, and different rewards, different prices to them. It also does an exceptional job when you add in things like nations and second stage of almost creating an asymmetrical player power environment. The nations cards in particular can add some very distinct attributes to each player. I've had some like what's a good example? What was
China?
Yeah, China that I had last time. That it lets you play on the China card to remove all of your permanent workers from your buildings and immediately into your turn. What this means is that you can essentially play on your entire player board twice in a row if you do it all with permanent workers. And this can be a huge distinction because suddenly filling up your player board is a big priority for you because you can play on it all repeatedly more than the other people. Whereas, if you're, say, somebody like India, it's about getting the active worker pool early on, like developing that powerful workforce and then getting out there and doing things with it. Now, the personalities in second stage definitely add another element of strategy to the game for sure, but really we just enjoy playing with the people. I mean, it adds another little choice that really, to our minds, rounds out the game and takes a good game and makes it great. The mini expansion and the expansion, nations and second stage, really, really reasonably priced, very cheap. You can get the whole experience for something around, it's like $70-$80, on average on Amazon, Cool Stuff, one of those guys, which, wonderful experience for the money. And it's also nice that it goes up to 5 instead of 4, like a lot of Euro type games. Also, the theme isn't going to be for everyone, but we enjoy it phenomenally. It is a great deal of fun building nuclear bombs with your little wooden worker, or not wooden, and that's another great thing. A fantastic way both to save money and add to the aesthetic of the game is these worker tokens, because you can get much more, in-depth with the art this way, and they're so goofy and so wonderful and fun to look at, and they keep things lighthearted despite the serious subject matter.
Which, on the note of the serious subject matter, on the other side of the personality cards is a little bit of, history about the personalities.
Yep. Little blurbs on the back there about the actual persons represented. Another neat little touch to this game and to second stage. There are quite a few elements of second stage we weren't playing with. It adds a whole bunch of basically modules you can add in.
Hydrogen bombs,
the rockets, all kinds of stuff. And it works out brilliantly, really. It flows so seamlessly, and it's a game that is very, I guess you would say, AP friendly, because the smaller amount of decisions, pick one of these spots on the main board, keeps even the thinky prone types from spending too much time staring at the board, because you're making more like a series of micro choices. First it's I want money, then it's which one of these three options do I want to take to get the money. And the abilities on your player board are fairly intuitive as well. What's your priority at the moment? Yellow cake? Well, you've only got one mine, so you probably better play on that mine.
Before somebody else does.
Sure, absolutely. It also, on that note, does a fantastic job of being a highly interactive Euro. Not only can you undertake espionage actions to use someone else's building, gaining the benefit for yourself and cramming it up so they can't use it, but you can engage in airstrikes to knock out their buildings, costing them time and effort to repair and money, and just there's a lot of interaction, which, may not work for some Euro fans, but we really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't tend to do a lot of airstrikes in a two-player game. It's just...
It feels very attacky.
It just doesn't really come up much, honestly.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem
too.
like an optimal move most of the time. But espionage quite frequently. We definitely do a lot of espionage with each other, and I love good old Klaus Fuchs there. He is so wonderful because he's so sneaky. People forget you have him. It's just like, oh, by the way, espionage for free. Love him.
I know. He's even better than having the Soviet Union, because you had to use two people for the Soviet Union.
Right.
Plus whatever's on the board.
Though having both.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, as far as complaints go, and there are a few, certainly, there always are, we've noticed that especially in lower player count games, a little less so in higher player counts, but not as much as you might think, eventually the building board just kind of stops moving.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really gaining any buildings anymore because none of the ones up front are that appealing, and the ones in the back are just too dang expensive. I love this yellow cake here, but I cannot spend 20 coins.
Right.
Just can't do it.
That's what makes one of the, at least I forget his name off the top of my head, in the personalities. Nichols. That's what makes him like an amazing thing to have.
Oh, Nichols is wonderful. And another reason we feel that Nations and Second Stage are they're what bring this game up to the heights it can and should be. So the stalling of the building board is definitely kind of frustrating. And also, sometimes the fact that bombs are your only source of points, that's it. You build the bomb and you can load the bomb or test the bomb or what have you, but you have to build the bombs, can feel a little restrictive. But like I said, it's nicely focused and it keeps, the AP Pro and still in the game. And, it's not a UE title, a Le Havre or an Agricola or something where they're just going to shut down staring at the options.
Yeah.
It keeps moving. It's fast-paced and very dynamic like that. Also, they definitely made a lot of good decisions in terms of saving money and, keeping a reasonable budget. But the bombs and building cards do seem a little bit bend prone. You got to be kind of careful with them. But the sacrifice leads to a very attractive MSRP. An absolutely wonderful budget find. We love the aesthetic.
The rule book is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I should show you this. There's a lot of really, really neat art in this. There's the front of the rule book there. Oop. There's the back. They really, really took the theme.
Well, and it's like that throughout the whole book.
Yeah. They took the theme, they ran with it, and it came out great. And they did a wonderful balance between, cartoony and serious that just utterly phenomenal. We really, really enjoy this one. Definitely has a spot in our collection, and hopefully, you got something useful out of all this. We tried to show you all the various aspects of gameplay. I think we did a pretty decent job, cross your fingers. So, I'd say that about wraps it up. Any last bits?
No, I think we covered it pretty well.
Alrighty, well then, until next time, get off your computer and play some more games.